Good morning and welcome as we continue our devotionals for Black Rock Baptist Church and also Morristown Baptist Church. This morning we're going to continue to talk about happiness in our lives and focus upon Philippians chapter 1, verse 12, a little devotional entitled, Trust God, He's Got a Better Plan. You know, if you want to be a happy person, you need to look at every problem in life from God's perspective. Happy people have a larger perspective. They see the big picture. When we don't see things from God's point of view, that's when we get discouraged, we get frustrated, and we get unhappy. No matter what's going on in your life, whether it's good or bad or nice or ugly, God is working out a plan. Paul knew that. He says in Philippians chapter 1, verse 12, he says, I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me has helped to spread the good news. Ever since Paul became a Christian on the road to Damascus, he had one great dream. He wanted to preach in Rome, to preach at the center of the universe at the time, Rome. His dream was to preach the gospel in the most important city in the world. But God had a different idea. Instead of sending Paul to Rome to preach crusades, God makes Paul a royal prisoner in Rome, a prisoner to Nero. And Nero is a very corrupt leader. As a royal prisoner, Paul is chained to a guard in prison 24 hours a day. He's there for 2 years. And the guard is changed every 4 hours. So over that 2 years in prison, Paul has had the opportunity to witness to thousands of guards. Who's the prisoner? Who's the captive audience? This isn't Paul's plan, but it was God's plan. And it produced amazing results. There are two results that we know of for sure. First of all, Philippians chapter 4 tells us that this was God's plan, and that within 2 years of Paul's imprisonment, some of Nero's own household had become believers in Christ because of Paul's witness in the prison. Secondly, it's kind of hard for a guy like Paul to stop moving. But in prison, he's forced to stay still. And as a result, he has a large amount of time on his hands. And he uses that to write a large portion of the New Testament. I wonder which had the bigger impact, Paul's preaching in the Colosseum or the books that he wrote in prison, including the books of Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Those 7 books have revealed Jesus to millions of people over the years. Paul knows that God has got a bigger plan, a better plan. And he knows that he can be happy because he trusts what God is doing through his problems. I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, he says, that everything that has happened to me here has helped to spread the good news. Anytime you've got a problem that's starting to get you down, you need to do what Paul did. Learn to see it from God's point of view. Ask, what's God doing here? Recognize that God has a plan. What's the bigger picture? What's the bigger perspective? And when you think on those lines, you'll be able to move forward facing that problem in faith. Thank you for joining us today. God bless and have a wonderful day. Join us again on Friday as we continue upon this same topic. Let's continue to exchange prayers daily.